Well, good morning or good afternoon, attendees, depending upon where you're at. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by Vosik AI. My name is Brandon Savage. I will be your moderator today. The topic of today's webinar emphasizes the recently released tool of ChatGPT and how it demonstrates how artificial intelligence and machine learning can make everyday tasks easier, smarter, and more efficient. Our hope is at the end of the webinar today, you will be more interested in learning how artificial intelligence and machine learning can be used in your business to help grow your business by leveraging your existing customers and making your current operational tasks easier, smarter, and more efficient. We're going to start today with introductions. Again, my name is Brandon Savage. I am the head of solution enablement here at Vosik AI. I have over 20 years of experience as an operations and customer experience leader with consumer-facing, recurring revenue, subscription-based businesses. I'm also an award-winning instructor in the College of Business at Kansas State University. And if any of you were watching last night, we had a fantastic game. And so I have to at least say, go Cats.
Yeah.
I'll now turn the time over to our co-founder, Dr. Vasu Akula, to introduce himself.
That was an awesome game. Thank you, Brandon. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Vasu Akula. I lead the data science team. On this webinar, I will be especially focusing on, what are all the things that we need to do around the AI to make the most value out of AI. So practical examples, implementation examples that you can take away from this meeting as you start thinking about how can you take advantage of some of these amazing developments for your own business, right? So we'll speak about each of these sections in a little bit, but Doug, I'll pass it to you for introductions.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Doug Shapiro. I'm the Chief Sales Officer. Thank you for your time today. I'm going to have a small role in this. I'm going to talk to you about our expanding team, and I'm going to talk to you about the success we're driving within our customer base.
Thank you, Doug. So to begin our discussion today, I'd like to talk a little bit more about a tool that leverages artificial intelligence and machine learning that has received a lot of attention over recent months. On November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT was released by OpenAI, an organization backed by many heavy hitters in the technology industry, including Microsoft. Within 2 months, this free tool rocketed to 100 million monthly active users, the fastest adoption of any technology tool or product in history. It was trained on a 45 terabyte data set of text from prior to 2021. And this LLM, or large language model, can be used for a wide variety of applications in a simple question-answer format. So as a faculty member here at Kansas State University, there's been a lot of recent discussions about how ChatGPT can be used in academia by both faculty, staff, students to augment the learning experience. In addition, industries across the world have been experimenting with this particular tool to see how AI and ML can be potentially applied to some of their business use cases. So a couple of weeks ago, we were having one of our weekly meetings and we were talking about ChatGPT, and I started playing around it and I asked ChatGPT the following question. I asked, and this was for our business model, right? Why should recurring revenue companies use artificial intelligence and machine learning to help reduce their customer attrition and to help with their price increase strategy? And I'm going to show the answer that it gave, and we're going to kind of do it in little segments. And I'm going to stop at each little segment and just talk about how we use, how we were following this. This answer was one that we couldn't have scripted any better. So first, recurring revenue companies rely on the consistent and predictable revenue generated from their existing customers. However, customer attrition and the inability to effectively implement price increases can significantly impact the company's bottom line. Here are some reasons why AI and ML can be valuable tools for reducing customer attrition and implementing effective price increase. First, predictive analytics. AI and ML can analyze large amounts of customer data to identify patterns and trends that may indicate a customer is at risk of leaving. By predicting churn early on, the company can take proactive steps to prevent it. such as offering personalized promotions or addressing customer concerns before they become major issues. Our solution at Vosik AI is able to take the large amounts of customer data that you have and to turn that data into intelligence. The second item, personalization. AI and ML can help companies personalize their offerings to better meet individual customer needs and preferences. By providing a customized experience, customers are more likely to feel valued and less likely to consider switching to a competitor. Our solution allows you to hyper-target offers to each individual customer in a way that addresses their latent needs and to be able to maximize the length of time that they're with your company. Number 3, dynamic pricing. AI and ML can be used to analyze market trends, customer behavior, and other factors to optimize pricing strategies. This can help companies implement price increases that are more likely to be accepted by customers and maximize revenue without alienating loyal customers. We just released earlier this year our predictive price increase solution that does exactly this. And last, automation. Looking for ways to be able to automate your tasks. So when we look at this, although ChatGPT is a powerful tool, it gave us a great answer here, it certainly has limitations, especially if you want to figure out how to scale this power to your business. To demonstrate that, we then asked ChatGPT a follow-up question. We said, can ChatGPT write these predictive models? And it basically said, it's kind of hard to do that. It says it's important to note that creating a predictive model is a complex process. And further down in an answer, it says it's always best to work with a data scientist or machine learning expert who can carefully evaluate the data and choose the most appropriate model and parameters for the specific use case. So the intelligence response does identify a very real challenge to implementing IA and ML to a business setting, especially at scale. We call this challenge the execution gap. How do you take all the data within my existing business and harness this power to be able to see increases in speed, service, and reductions in attrition and cost? So to help answer that question, I'm going to turn the time over to Vasu, who will explain how the Vosik solution helps businesses address the execution gap.
Thank you, Brandon. It's just amazing to see, how literally, it came up with precisely the right business cases. So, the power of AI, is thinking right. We agree with it. We spent quite a bit of time and all of that, right? So absolutely ready technology for subscription recurring revenue businesses to improve their customer lifetime value. So for my portion, for the next 10 minutes, I was kind of thinking through, what do I say, 1 or 2 things that are useful for the audience, as they start thinking about how to bring this technology back into their business and benefit from this. And I actually found a diamond. And this diamond is this that I found only because of this webinar that made me think about, the evaluation of AI and all of that. This is the first ever predictive model that I wrote when I was studying in the College of Computer Science and Engineering back in JNTU, that's in India. That's in 1995, more than 25 years ago. So since then, the technology has improved significantly. And I believe these improvements are attributable to, 3 things in particular. Back in 1995, we could write some neural networks and all these things, that predicted some patterns, and it was fascinating at that time. But these were kind of more like lab business cases. The technology is the same thing, but it evolved, in my opinion, because of the power of cloud computing, how much the computing power has improved in the last 20 years. That's number 1. And then the number 2 thing is, it is the value and the pre-built systems that are already running in the cloud. So technically, we don't have to spend, years and years of developing these models and installing the software. The cloud is already ready, and COVID only made it faster for everyone to accept that. And third, and probably more important and more relevant for this, is in the last 20 years, how much data has this businesses, started collecting? Think about their internal data, think about their CRM systems, marketing systems. A lot of digitization has happened. Now, when you combine all these things, the power of computing, the power of cloud, and the power of the data that all the businesses are sitting on, And now you add the value of the technology that is business ready, I think magic can happen. And it was fascinating, Brandon, to see the magic that you showed. But what I'm going to talk for my portion is over the last 25 years, we have implemented these things for many companies, and many of them are successes, but many of them also resulted in some failures, and we learned many things from them. And I wanted to leave the audience with some practical examples about if the technology is ready. In my opinion, that's half. How do you use the technology? How do you generate tens of millions of business value out of it? How do you orchestrate that? Is it a bigger challenge or equally important challenge? So I'm going to talk about these 5 bullet points, give you some ideas for thinking as you start thinking about bringing this amazing technology in-house. The first thing, obviously, is bringing the data, right? So ChatGPT or any AI technology can do the magic, but we still need to supply the data, right? These machine learning models are going to learn from your historical data, not from Wikipedia, because these are your customers, right? So the data often is, who are the customers, when did they buy your product or service, how much they pay, where do they live, and all these types of things. And as a practical idea that someone needs to still think, this is something we typically start at the beginning of our meetings. Many of our customers say either our data is too complicated, it's very difficult for AI to apply, or the other extreme, we don't think we have the right data. I love the technology, but I don't think we have the right data. And in our assessment, I think both are two extreme ends of data complication, or I don't have the data, because the simple thing here is if we are able to predict who's going to cancel based on FICO score, who's going to cancel based on contract status, who's going to cancel based on a detractor score as opposed to a promoter score. Now, when you combine these 3 things and business and where they live, what they bought, how much they're paying, you can very quickly get to extremely large value, right? So do not underestimate your data. Someone needs to help you think through what data you have, what is the right ways. We don't need to be overwhelmed with the amount of data. At the same time, we also don't need to be discounting that I don't have the data to take advantage of this thing, right? So this is a very common case that we run into, that runs into either delays or kind of over expectations, right? The other one is, as we go into number 2, diagnosis, the right data scientist who have done it many times is always going to take a look at the problem that you're trying to solve. And he needs to break this into, if we take an example of churn reduction, what is addressable churn and what is not addressable churn, right? Any business will have certain scenarios, they will, no matter what, they will not be able to handle. That's not where the fighting is, what's fighting, but you take the addressable churn, and then that is where, you need to develop your business cases, you need to develop your ROI plans, you need to start working with your marketing leaders, operational leaders, financial leaders, create the right business case and develop, the plans. This is where it becomes a company-wide initiative as opposed to, 1 or 2 people talking here and there, fascinated by technology, right? So there's tremendous value when a CMO, CFO, and a COO gets together and puts their teams and fully commits to this type of technology, right? And then the third one, I'll go quickly on these ones because Brandon has some fascinating stuff to show, right? The third one is predictions. And again, most customers that we work with, they kind of underestimate. If they're talking about a pricing model, they talk about, I need a pricing model, which customer can get what type of price. Or if we're talking about a referral system, they're talking about, I need a referral prediction model. But what we always recommend is, these are complementary things, right? So when you are implementing a referral system, you want to first understand who is happy or not. That means you need an NPS model. Then not every happy customer is going to be promoting or giving you a referral. Don't waste your, $50 gift cards or postcards, it still costs money, right? There's no point in sending to someone. Then you don't want to send these things to high-risk customers, right? You want to make sure they're not high risk, they're happy customers. They're more likely to give a referral when you ask for a referral and put an incentive. So incentive plan predictions or offer predictions, and then all these things will also yield the right thing. So in our assessment, it's never a single system, it's multiple systems kind of working together, right? And I'll show how a real implementation for a recurring revenue business full blown is going to look like on the next slide. But the main takeaway is think about what models, how they need to work together. And when you have these three things, now the game goes from predictions into prescriptions, right? This is when you start acting. And this is where, maybe your lookalike models, right? If Vasu as a customer is high-risk customer, but he has taken this offer, who are the 1,000 other Vasus that we have in your business? Because they're more likely to take this one, right? And it is also important for us to think about micro segments, because no matter what we do, no matter how AI is, certain segments are going to kind of yield the best results, and certain segments are not going to yield the best segments. And then the game starts again. Is it because of the data? If so, we have to go back to the data and bring the right data. Is it about the offers, or is it about the predictions? Because these predictions and all these things are constantly improving. They need to be constantly improved. So micro-segmentation and a framework is very, very important for us to measure and constantly improve, because this is not going to be one and done, right? That's again a mistake that we generally hear from our customers. Hey, can you build the model? Thank you very much. Is it going to take 30 days, 60 days? And we try to educate them that, hey, by the way, this is going to be a new way of doing things. It's an ongoing thing, right? And finally, we need to think about automation. This is also, automation is not one and done. When it is thought about as one and done, it's often a mistake, because then you're trying to go into your website automation, your call center automation, your email automation, your field channel automation. And we always recommend, start somewhere small, build a case, rally your teams, and then start expanding into other things and other things. So those are kind of things that you need to think about as you make the technology full-blown, deliver the best results it can, right? So now we call it orchestration. And it comes down to two things that are written at the bottom left of the screen. It's a platform that is fully capable of the magic, if we want to call it, in the spirit of celebrating AI these days, right? Can it integrate? Can it offer APIs? Is it real time? Is it scoring every day? Is it once in a while? How big of an operator do we need? We need to think about all those types of things. And then the ones who know how to do these types of things is the data scientists and data engineers who can work together, right? So that's what it is. But when they both come together, this is how a full-blown implementation is going to look like. On the left side, we are seeing internal data. I think most companies, recurring revenue businesses, these are fundamental data sources. They do have it in their CRM systems, marketing systems, and it is easy to connect these things into the cloud, whether it is a 25-year ago implementation or the most modern CRM that you have that was implemented last year, right? So those are not the typical limitations. But then also think about outside data, just knowing where the customer lives, even the zip code, the environment, the state, is it urban area, rural area? There's a lot of information that you can gather from there. And then the middle portion is all the models and all these things and staging of the models, because you don't want to mess with production models, like, stage it, deploy it, improve it, there's a whole tech stack that goes there. And my favorite portion is on the right side, right? These are the business solutions. This is what many of you who joined on the webinar today want to achieve, right? You don't want the technology on the left side that's ready. You want to use the technology, but ultimately you want to improve your retention, improve your offers, improve your price optimization, improve your upsells and upgrades and things like that. So these business cases, when you orchestrate it the right way, we have absolutely delivered tens of millions of dollars, and we believe anybody can, with the right platform, with the right resources, they can realize these types of things with the technology that is available today, right? So with those ideas and some ideas to think about as you develop your 2023 plans and start thinking about how can I do the same thing that some of my peers are doing, start thinking about these things. When you apply these principles, you're going to, quickly get into, tens of millions of dollars in value, right? So that's my ideas for takeaway from this webinar. With that, I'll pass it to Doug.
Okay, thank you. So I was the number 2 employee, and I'm proud to say that we're 80 strong and growing. And at the center of our solution, you'll find the AI Center of Excellence. It offers all the necessary skills and resources to help you achieve retention breakthrough. And it includes the following: an on-demand team of data scientists that you can see there, data engineers, business analysts, and an experienced team of PhDs and developers that have patents. It comes with a proven playbook to manage change, remove complexities, and supercharge your customer lifetime value. We deliver continuous data-driven improvements through benchmarking, measurement, and feedback loops that include customer feedback. And collectively, we've delivered over $750 million in customer lifetime value to our customers. And here's a list of some of our customers. These are some of the examples of our customers and the value we drive in their organizations. We accomplish this by combining a robust platform like Vasu talked about, a growing list of business applications, a proven portfolio of machine learning models, and business consulting services led by senior business leaders. Our customers were constantly asking for feedback and guidance, and our customers tell us we have created a unique end-to-end solution that has helped them realize significant business impact across their organization. Over to you, Brendan.
All right, so remember this prompt we did at the beginning, and it felt somewhat magical of how it was able to answer this question on the fly. Well, we decided to even take that a step beyond, and we asked it to explain this same thing, but in the style of Dr. Seuss. I'll read that for you today. Oh, the wonders of AI. Let me tell you why, oh my. For companies with recurring revenue, it can help reduce attrition, don't you see? With predictive analytics, it can detect when customers may leave and cause a big effect. Personalization is another great thing. It can make customers happy and help them sing. By analyzing their behavior and needs, products and services can meet their leads. Dynamic pricing is the cherry on top. For the company, it's a great way to hop. It can optimize pricing to maximize cash and keep customers satisfied with every dash. So if you're a company with a recurring fee, AI and machine learning can make customers happy as can be. By understanding their needs and predicting churn, your business can grow and profits can turn. Now, if you don't believe that this is the case, I want to do one other little experiment, and we'll do it live. And this is always, the risk of how things work. But before we move to a Q&A session, I've got a prompt that I'm going to ask ChatGPT, which is, if I was a business executive on a webinar that talked about how AI and ML can help reduce my customer attrition, what questions should I ask the panelists? And we'll see in real time ChatGPT doing its job. And I demonstrate this because it feels like magic, but there is so much effort that went into putting ChatGPT together. And when we want to be able to take something like this technology, and figure out how we can implement it into our businesses, sometimes it can be overwhelming as to where do we start. And so the core thing we want each of you to walk away with today is that the starting point is finding a partner like Vosik, is that we can help you bridge the execution gap. We can help you take the underlying technology of artificial intelligence and machine learning, like we see in this tool in ChatGPT, and can help you deploy that within your own organization. Now, we've got a few minutes, and I'll answer some of the questions that ChatGPT has provided for us. Some of them we may not have time to answer here today, but let's see what it threw at us today. Can you provide some examples of companies that have successfully used? Well, we did that, so we answered that question. Number two, how can AI ML be used to identify customers who are at risk of churning, and what types of data are necessary to make accurate predictions? Depending upon your industry, we'd be happy to sit down with you and tell you the types of data we've found to have strong signals in this case. When we're looking between structured and unstructured data, oftentimes it is the unstructured data that has the most signal. It's the notes from your agents that they're taking every day. That I talked to a customer, they asked a question about this, they expressed they were angry about this. That has signal and can be used to help predict what that customer is going to do next and what you can do today to make them happy. Number three, can you explain the different types of algorithms used in AI ML to reduce customer attrition? What are the pros and cons of each? That's a Vasu question. We'd be happy to sit down with any of you, and he can go into more detail about the nuts and bolts of our solution. Number four, how can AI ML be integrated with existing customer retention strategies, such as loyalty programs or targeted marketing campaigns? One of the first steps we would do with a partner is we sit down and we do a needs assessment on site with you and your retention team. We understand, we seek to understand what you're currently doing, what's happening, what initiatives do you have in place, and then we will take our existing solution and figure out the best ways, the quickest and easiest ways to be able to tie the two together. And then over time, as we're seeing success, we'll continue to integrate other programs that you might have in order to help increase customer lifetime value. Number 5, what are the potential ethical concerns associated with using AI and machine learning to reduce customer attrition? And how can businesses ensure they're using these tools in a responsible and transparent way? This is definitely a broader discussion, but a short answer is oftentimes some of the things you're doing now to just categorize customers is more at risk of causing ethical issues. That instead of looking at an individual customer and all of the things that lead to who they are and what their concerns are, AI and ML can oftentimes be more effective at ignoring some of the aspects and characteristics that you don't want to be discriminating against. Number 6, how long does it typically take to implement a solution to reduce customer attrition? What are the costs involved? Man, I couldn't have asked for a better question than that, Vasu. So we have found that we're able, from the moment that we begin a partnership with a company, that we're able to have our solution up and running with the frontline employees within 100 days. So that includes all the time to gather your data, to interpret your data, to build the models, to work with your team. That's the value of our ACE team, is that we're helping you implement and deploy, and our team will be partnered with you for the duration of our partnership. We don't just get you kicked off and say, see you later. We're with you entire time, with consultants meeting with your team on a monthly basis, to running weekly checkpoints, to creating reports, to helping you understand how the solution is working, and always looking for better ways to be able to increase your business value. How can businesses measure the success of an AI ML solution for reducing customer attrition? What metrics should they be tracking? We can give you some really good idea based on what we've done with our past clients of how do you calculate customer lifetime value? How do you calculate the net present value of an offer you're going to extend to a customer? And how can you go to your investors or to your banks to show how this solution is returning on the investment you've made into it? Our typical customers see anywhere from 10 to 30 times return on investment for what they spend with us to what they see as an increase to customer lifetime value. I'll do one more question. Well, we'll pause. I want to do this last little thing. So the last thing I want to show, similar to what we with Dr. Seuss, is I'm going to say, tell me these questions again in the style of a surfer and include lots of emojis. And we'll see ChatGPT what feels like magic of being able to take a simple question and answer into seamlessly and quickly be able to make this transformation of something into something else that meets my current and present needs. To wrap up, as we're out of time, I want to invite each of you that if you are interested in figuring out how you can harness AI and machine learning within your business, we would love to sit down and meet with you. We will send to each of you as a member of this webinar a copy of our ebook, 3-Step Action Plan, that gives you transformational insights. Second, we're extending to all of those who have signed up for this webinar a free one-on-one maturity assessment where we can meet with you and assess the maturity of your current retention program and give you some suggestions on how you might improve. And for those that choose to go with the Vozix solution, we are extending an offer for the next year that you would receive 50% off our software as a service fees for our solution. With that being said, thank you for giving us a half hour of your time today. If you have additional questions, you can feel free to reach out to us at info@vozic.ai, or you can reach out on LinkedIn to any of the three of us. We'd be happy to set up time to answer any questions that you have and show you how the Vozix solution can help you grow your company using your existing customer base. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining.